Hair's a mess, no makeup on, and I am the happiest I have ever been. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Honey Bee Nuts podcast channel. My name is Melissa, and I'm coming to you from Springboro, Ohio, which is about 45 minutes north of Cincinnati, where I live with my husband, our dog, and 2 cats. How many of you guys mouthed that as I spoke it? Because I say the same thing every time. And when I watch podcasts and they say that, I'm like sitting there saying it along with them. It's fabulous. I live about 45 minutes north of Cincinnati, and today is a beautiful day. It's a little chilly, which I like. A little cloudy, which I also like. Not rainy, which I can take or leave the rain sometimes, but I mean, I enjoy a good rainy day. Anyway, it's just beautiful outside. Today is Saturday, November 2nd. It's my stepfather's birthday, so happy birthday to him, even though he does not watch this podcast. We are going out to eat with him later on tonight. And it's just going to be a fun time. So today is, this weekend is Vogue Knitting Live, and originally I was going back and forth on whether or not I was going to go. And I decided to stay home because I am festivaled out, and I just needed some home time, and today has been very good for my soul. Before I get started, let me just say thank you to all the returning viewers. I'm glad that you liked something in this podcast and you came back, and welcome to all new viewers. I hope you enjoy it. For those of you that watched the last episode and you sent me a message on Instagram or Etsy or Revelry or commented on the video, thank you so much for all the love and support. It does mean the world to me. And I have already gotten a little glimpse into what my life is going to be like without dyeing this week, because I didn't do any dyeing, and I have so much knitting to show, and I am so excited about it. I feel like I used to podcast weekly, and this past year or so, I'm like, how did I ever do that? Because I don't have enough to show in one week. Well, guys, let me tell you, I know now why, because it's like I got so much done. I got so much knitting done, and I'm looking forward to even more knitting. But before we jump in, I want to say that yes, I am taking a step back from dyeing, and I announced that in my last podcast. But if there's any colorway that you want and any quantity that you want on any base that you want, please contact me and let me know on Etsy, and we will set up a custom listing for you. I will keep that open till about a week before Christmas, and then I will close it. And that's it. That's all I'm dyeing. Other than what I want to dye next year. If I dye for myself only, I am okay with that. If I dye for myself and friends, I'm okay with that. And if I happen to dye a little extra and pop it in the shop, I'm okay with that too. But there's no guarantees that there will be anything in the shop starting the first of the year. If I sell out of what's in the shop, that's it. I don't know when my next update is going to be. So just throwing that out there. And with that, I should probably tell you the places that you can find me. You can find me on Instagram as honey_bee_knits, on Ravelry as Melissa1308, in the Ravelry podcast group under Honeybee Knits podcast group, and on Etsy as honeybeenitsco.etsy.com. I think that's it. So we have a couple giveaways to talk about today, so let's go ahead and get those out of the way, because I know you guys are on the edge of your seat for those of you that participate. And speaking of participation, this weekend is the last minute. We decided to do, me and some friends decided to do a Whip It weekend. So if you go into Ravelry and you post what you're working on, or you go onto Instagram and post what you're working on with the hashtag hashtag HBK 2019 Whip It Weekend, then, and that's WIP weekend, then you will be entered in for a chance to win some lovely prizes. We have a prize donated from Heather, from Handmade by Heather. I've shown her Progress Keepers in the past, and I think you guys will see some today. She's donating a set of stitch markers. We have Nick Knack Knits, I believe. She is donating a beautiful project bag for you guys. And then, of course, I will throw in some yarn as well. Speaking of giveaways, before I announce winners, since I am taking a step back from the shop is how I finance and fund all giveaways, including shipping and the actual items that I send out, the patterns that I give out. And now that I'm taking a step back into next year, that expense is probably not going to be covered by the shop any longer, and it will be coming out of my personal finances, which I am okay with. However, if you are a maker and you make something fabulous like a project bag or stitch markers or some sort of notion that's very cool and interesting, or you're a yarn dyer or a pattern designer and you would like to donate to something to the podcast, please contact me via Ravelry and we will set you up. I do have a pattern that I will be giving away, but I do not have the information with me. It was generously donated to the podcast. So I am going to podcast, depending on how my knitting goes this week. I'm either going to podcast again in a week's time or in 2 weeks' time, at which point we will host that giveaway. So if you are interested in winning a new pattern by a lovely designer, then please contact me and or don't contact me. Please keep an eye on the next episode because that's when we will be announcing that. So our knit along winners for this past 2 weeks, we have 2 winners. If you want a giveaway from me and you contacted me with all the information prior to yesterday, then which was Friday the 1st, they've all been sent out in the mail or gifted to you if it's a pattern. Anything after that will be in the next round, so which will be 2 weeks from now. So that includes these ones. So the first prize that I drew was for the October sock knit along, which is any pair of socks that you finish in the month of October. And this week our winner was number 23, and that is Bork P. She participates in a lot of our knit alongs and she wins a lot too. So congratulations. Please contact me with your address on Ravelry. You know the drill, and I will get a package out to you. The second winner is a pattern of their choice up to $8 US in Ravelry, and that was for the comment winner from the last podcast. So I asked what you guys do to get in the season of fall to get ready for the winter months. And the winner is Sheila F. And she said, I try to do a deep cleaning fall and spring. This involves pulling furniture away from the wall, scrubbing closets and cabinets, cleaning above and below the refrigerator / stove, etc. Also clean up the garden, including tilling. And listen, you know what? This is all stuff that is not on my to-do list. And now I realize there's a lot more that I need to do before winter comes, because I don't think I ever thought to do half the stuff on that list. So thanks for the tips, Sheila. And if you could contact me on Ravelry, I am Melissa1308, and let me know which pattern you would like. I will donate that to you. So what's our question for this week? Let's talk about self-care. So I have been giving myself so much self-care over the past couple of weeks. I have been knitting up a storm. I have been planning 2020 because, as you know, if you've watched, I have a knitting schedule, and I love having a knitting schedule from the months of about January to September. Anything after that is kind of like put on, like I don't do my knitting schedule because I've got gift knitting and I have Advent stuff and all kinds of things. So knitting schedule kind of goes out the door, and I just knit whatever I want for 3 months. But for a good portion of the year, I have been trying to stick to that knitting schedule. And for me, knitting in general is just self-care. It's a form of therapy for me. I really enjoy it, and it makes me feel good because I feel like I'm accomplishing something productive. So for me, one of my favorite things to do to take care of myself is to relax and knit, and not worry about anything, and take an entire day to just do that. So I want to know what you guys do for self-care. Do you guys go out to dinner? Do you have a spa day? Do you take a bath, read a book? What do you do? So let me know in the comments below, and next week I will pull a winner for a pattern prize. I have so much to show this week. Guys, if you count each dishcloth, which I do, I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 finished objects. It's fabulous. And 2 whips. So I have been cruising through some stuff this week. So the first thing I'm going to show you, which you guys are probably tired of seeing, but I don't care, is dishcloths. So I did 3 more for last week. And I am up to 30 dishcloths out of 52 now. I am getting quickly approaching getting caught up to the dishcloth challenge. I am going to knit another 3 this week, and then I think every week after that is 2 dishcloths, I believe. But I am getting caught up, and I have to say, I didn't bust through as much dishy stash as I thought I would. I'm up to 30 dishcloths, and I've only gone through 3 colorways. So I'm really looking forward to doing this again next year, because I have plenty of dishy left. But I will say that it is, I said I was going to reorganize my shelves on the last podcast, and I never did. After I podcasted, I kind of got out of the mode of the organizing cleaning and got into the mode of knitting, which is fantastic. And I was able to do that because I had gotten so much done the week before. I am still trying to block this big basket of hand knits. I think I have 2 things left in there because I added something. Well, my husband added some socks that need to be washed. But I have blocked 4 sweaters in the past 2 weeks. It takes me, even with my spin dryer, drying it inside, it takes 2 days for each sweater to dry, sometimes 3 depending on the weight of the sweater. So I look forward to, I have 1 shawl I believe left to block, and then if I can find, I'm missing a sweater. If I can find it, I will wash it and get it ready for winter time. Tangent over. So this is Grandma's favorite dishcloth pattern, and I knit 3 more. I think I have enough to do maybe 1 more of these. Maybe not. I think I might be switching colors now. I don't think I have enough to do another one. So my Christmas dishcloths are done, and this week I'll be starting a new color. So that's 3, and I have some socks to show. Let's go right into the socks. So shortly after I podcasted last time, well, first of all, let's do Desert Vista. So I finished these socks the other day, 2 days ago. I always seem to push it with timelines when it comes to Desert Vista, but I finished these. These are the Desert Vista Dyeworks socks in the colorway Big Magic on her sparkle base. I started these in Rhinebeck, so I believe that you guys saw these as a whip on the last podcast. And they're on my Christmas blockers from Knitting Left, and I am so excited for Christmas. Guys, I don't think I ever got very excited for Christmas. I mean, I did as a kid, the weeks leading up when you go on Christmas break and have some time off of school. But as an adult, I don't really ever feel like I got excited for Christmas. Christmas was very stressful for me until last year when I did Vlogmas and I had Advents to open, and I just really enjoyed it. And guys, this year is going to be no exception. I have went Advent crazy for everything. Everybody in my house will have an Advent calendar, including my animals. So Izzy already has hers. The boys is coming next week for the cats, and Jason's gonna have one. I'm gonna have several. So I'm just really excited for Vlogmas. So I'm getting very excited for Christmas in general. I can't wait till the end of this month so I can put up my Christmas tree. And here are my Christmas sock blockers. So this is, I think I already said, Big Magic from Desert Vista Dyeworks, and I did 60 stitches around. I did a 20 row cuff, 20 rows before I put in my heel markers. Then I knit 60 rows on the foot and did a rounded toe and an afterthought heel. Now I will say, when I put these on, when I finished, I was like, why are they so big? Because I like my socks very fitted. I don't like them to slide around. These ones were pretty loose. And then I realized, I looked at, I was casting on this month's Desert Vista Dye Works socks, and I was like, this feels really floppy. So I look at the needle size, it was 2.75 millimeter. And for those of you that know me, I use 2.5 millimeter. So I had knit these on the wrong size for some reason. I didn't even know I had 2.75 millimeter needles. So, yeah, so they're a little big, but they're still super comfy and adorable. I love them so much. And that is my first sock finished object. And speaking of Advents, Jason has been on my butt this year about knitting him some socks. He loves wearing hand knit socks in the winter. He wears them almost every day. And there's been several colorways that I've purchased or set aside for him for socks. And I decided to do a kind of sock advent for him. So I won't be able to do 25 pairs, but I am hoping to at least get a good portion of Advent days with socks, and I'll supplement with things like candy and coffee for the rest of the time. He's in the basement playing video games right now, so I'm okay to talk about this. But so I have gone sock crazy for him. I brought him upstairs. We went through all of my yarn stash, including my personal Honeybee Knits yarn stash, and he picked out a bunch. Like, I have a whole bucket full of yarn over here just for him and his socks. And so I started this last Wednesday or Thursday, and this is what I've done. I have knit him, which he does wear shorties, but I have knit him 3 pairs of socks this week. So let me show you. So the first pair that I knit him was, and these are my sock blockers from Burning Impressions. They got penguins on them, but this is my yarn on the Queen Bee base in the Witch's Brew colorway. And for his socks, what I do on a 2.5 millimeter needle is I cast on 64 stitches. I do a 10 row cuff. I knit 1 round and mark the heel for afterthought. And then I knit 65 rows for his foot and a rounded toe, and then I come back and do the afterthought heel. And it works out really well for his feet. He has smaller feet than like my dad and my stepdad. He has small feet for a guy. His feet are only like an inch or so longer than mine, and I have small feet. I wear a size 7, 7.5. So I am very lucky that he does not have large feet. And so his socks only take about 5 rows more than mine do. And I'm really excited about it. So this is Witch's Brew. And I've been asked if this is a repeatable colorway, and I don't think that it is. I need to check my dye book to make sure, but I don't think that I have this. I switched dyes, and I don't think that I have this recipe written down for the brand of dyes that I use. I could probably recreate it, but it wouldn't look exactly the same. But there are those socks. And then I knit him a pair out of my Your Highness colorway. Jason's favorite color is purple. And these just turned out, I love these. Okay. So, guys, we have a wireless printer that we can connect to from all parts of the house, and my printer just started printing, and I was like, what is that? And my husband, he printed, I love you, he's sweet. So anyway, he's gonna have to wait for the response because I'm podcasting. So this is his socks in Your Highness, and my sock blockers, these are my Halloween sock blockers. They're super cute, from Knitting Left, and it's got witches and bats, a cat, and a scary pumpkin face. It's really creepy that my printer is like making noises right now. I don't know if there's something else being printed or if it's just resetting. I'm not sure, but anyway. So I love these sock blockers from Knitting Left, and she has this signature heart in the heel that I absolutely adore. So this is the socks in Your Highness, and because I can get at least 2, if not 3 pairs of socks from every ball of yarn for him, and these ones have not been blocked, and people ask, like, why do you block your socks? Like, what's the point? Well, it's kind of hard to see on camera, but it's very obvious in person. The stitches are very, I'm a tight knitter, and they're very tight, and just the fiber is just coiled. And blocking just loosens everything up. It loosens everything up, and it evens out all the stitching, and it just makes it feel nicer for that first wear. So these ones have not been, and I will, because I finished them last night, and I will work on getting these blocked this week. But I just did the Witch's Brew with the contrasting Your Highness, and then I have, let me show you. I've got this much left of the yarn. I have a little bit less Witch's Brew than I do Your Highness because I just did the contrasting for Your Highness on these. But so I'm going to do opposite. So this will be the heels, cuffs, and toes, and then this will be the main color. And then that should use up this yarn, and he'll have 4 pairs of socks, 2 balls of yarn, and I should have enough for my Cozy Memories blanket left over. So that is what I have been working on during the day. If I'm working and I'm in a meeting or doing a training, as you can see, I've had a lot of meetings and training time, which my job is 90% meetings, to be honest. And well, I would say more like 80% meetings. And so if I'm not leading the meeting or I don't need to take notes, I typically have knitting in my hands. So here those are, and I'm really excited. So I think he's gonna love it, and I'm excited to put it together for him and plan it. I think it's gonna be fantastic. So there is that. And my last finished object that I have is my All Hallows Eve shawl by Laura Brady from the Knit for Brains podcast. And this was knit using my advent calendar for Halloween. I gave up on calling it a countdown set. I didn't like the word advent for Halloween. I don't know why, but I just decided to call it advent because it's much easier. So I'm not going to go through each of the individual colorways. I did kind of vlog opening. I vlogged opening each day. I'll show the bottom portion up close because it's actually like 4 or 5 days in one section. Oh, I'm showing you the wrong side. Duh. But so I'll show that part up close so you can see the last couple days of the advent, and then the main color I have just on the bottom, which was the full skein. I don't have that to show. Oh, actually I do. I do have that to show because it's a little hard to see. Okay, so I'm going to show my 2 favorites from the Halloween advent, and I will show the full skein. So this one clearly got all tangled up in the bag, but this one is called Not Today, Satan, and it's a lovely, lovely like maroony purple. It's showing up a bit darker on screen for me, but it's very, very pretty, and I definitely am going to be doing a sweater out of that eventually. And this one, that was Not Today, Satan, inspired by Sabrina Spellman from The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And then this one is my Luna Lovegood colorway. My theme was vampires, werewolves, and witches. And then this one is the main skein. It's kind of hard to see. I've got some skeins over here I'll grab for you guys because this one is caked up. But this is the Double Toil and Trouble. Let me grab. This is what the full skeins look like. So this is Sparkle. This is going to be my pair of socks on Sparkle. And then this one is going to be Jason's pair of socks because he really likes this colorway on Queen. So, boom. That is that. I think that was an extra skein. I think this one is for his socks. So I'll move that into his project bag for later. So that is my All Hallows Eve shawl by Laura Brady of the Knit for Brains podcast. It's huge. I love it. It was a lot of fun to knit. I was able to keep up with it really well, and I love the scrappy look of it. I chose to use a light gray neutral for the contrasting color, and I used Flagstone, my Flagstone colorway. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I love seeing all of my colors that I made for Advent, and I am really, really happy with how it turned out. And I'm even more excited for Christmas because I don't know. My colorways that I came up with for the Advents this year were really good, and I was really proud of myself and really happy with the outcome of how it turned out. So I hope you guys that purchased loved it as well, and I'm excited for Christmas. So what do we have next? That is a project and a part of the Advent, on the last day you receive some stitch markers and some progress keepers, and you either received some from me, which were like little pumpkins, and I think there was a cat face, little Halloween themed progress keepers, or you received these, which I'll show you because Heather did such an amazing job on these, which are these paper origami type stitch markers, and they're made with Halloween paper. So she included those, and there is if you got these, there is a coupon code on the back for her shop for 10% off. Yeah. So I'm setting that over there to be emptied, throwing it over there to be emptied, and coffee break. So that is all of my Advent stuff for Halloween. Christmas Advents have been completed and mailed out. You should have received it this week. And I hope that you guys love it as much as I do. No peeking. I should have put that on the outside of the box because several people have been tempted to do so. I've gotten a lot of messages this week saying how hard it's been to not open them. But I put a lot of time and effort and money into those boxes, and I think they're worth every penny. And that's not just me being egotistical. I tried to look at it from the eyes of what would I want to receive and open throughout the month of December. And I think you guys are going to just really be happy with the result. So I have a couple whips. I do have, I'll finish out the knitting whips before I get into spinning, because I do have a little bit of spinning to talk about. Here is my Desert Vista Dye Works socks for the month of November, and I have it in my Hufflepuff bag from Laura Brady from Knit for Brains podcast. And I have, she also included, let me take the yarn out of here, this, like, it's a yarn cozy, it's like a little snap bag, yarn cozy, and it's the Marauders map. So there's that, and there's a needle holder in here too, which I should probably use, that is matching to the Hufflepuff fabric. So let me show you the yarn. So the yarn is Harold's Purple Crown by Desert Vista Dye Works in the sparkle base, because that's all I have, sparkle, let's be honest. And here's what I have so far. I knit this up, started it and knitted up yesterday while I was working on my, while I was reading my 50 pages for the day, because I read 50 pages a day, 5 days a week. And I finished 60 books so far this year. So I'm really proud of that accomplishment. But so as you can see, I don't know if you guys can tell, this cuff is very, very loose because I knit most of this cuff before I realized that I was using 2.75 needles. And I normally use 2.5. So I switched, when I got past the cuff, I switched to the 2.5. And what I'll do is on the second sock, I'll go ahead and match it and do 2.75. But I was almost done with the cuff and I was not reknitting it. I can deal with it being a little loose up top. So, but I did switch to 2.5 down here. And it's sitting up beautifully. I Same sock recipe as what I talked about before for last month's sock. And I used to knit 60-row legs. So I would do 20 rows of ribbing, 60-row leg, and then I would do the heel markers. And then I made a pair of shorty socks for myself, and I absolutely love them, and I found I wear those more. So I decided to switch to the shorty socks, so I do the bare minimum that she requires now. But here it is. I am just past the heel markers. So I am on the foot of the second sock. And I am sure I will pick that up and work on it at some point this week. And my last knitting project, and you guys probably won't be able to tell much of a change in this, but I did work on it a little bit, so I figured I'd pull it out and show you. And this is my project for my Whip It weekend. So here is my throne sweater, and I put in a few more inches on the body and stockinette, and I have about, I would say, 1.5 inches left before I'm going to start the bottom portion of the color work. So the bottom portion should be about as wide as this is. And I'm basically, and plus the ribbing at the bottom, 2 to 3 inches of ribbing at the bottom. So I took what I wanted and I subtracted that in the ribbing, and that's how long I am knitting this body to. And I just keep trying it on as I go to make sure that it's not becoming too long. Essentially, I'm trying to get the stockinette to my belly button, and I'm about 1.5 inches from my belly button when I try it on. It does fit me very well. It looks a little small while I'm holding it up, but I'm using, I think, a 30-inch cable, or maybe I think it's a 30-inch cable, so that all my stitches are nice and tight and I can knit fast around. But I'm loving, loving, loving the yarn. Every time I try it on, and the fit, honestly, this sweater is so soft and comfortable, and it fits me really, really nicely. And I can already tell that those arms are not going to have that crazy baggage issue that I have had in a lot of my sweaters. I think there's going to be a little bit of positive ease underneath, but not nearly as much as some of my sweaters have been in the past, which I am extremely happy about. The yarn is Primrose Yarn Company in her Margot MCN base. And I don't remember the main body colorway name, but I know this is called Hot Pants. The hot pink is Hot Pants. And then I don't know where the tags are. And I think this darker mauve purple is called Dusty Rose. So that is my sweater. So my goal tonight is to get the stockinette done and start the color work. Tomorrow is scrappy knitting, so I won't be working on the sweater tomorrow, but I really do want to get back to working on this sweater and hopefully have the body done by the next podcast. That's the goal. So that's all I have for knitting. I do have some spinning to talk about, but I did not get this off the bobbin today like I wanted to, but I will later. But I can go ahead and show you. You guys will see this again when I scan it up. I think scanning up the spinning, you can see the colors nicer, but it is sparkly and I love it. This was a braid I purchased in Greencastle this year. I'm really happy with how it spun up, and I realized I have a lot of finished spun up skeins of the same weight and color, and so I'm thinking about planning out a sweater next year for that. I might need to buy or find in my stash, there might be some in my stash, 1 or 2 more braids that have the same color scheme to spin up, but I think I have enough in this color scheme to kind of knit the sweater. And what I'm thinking about doing, I just want to knit all the sweaters. What I'm thinking about doing is alternating rows with each skein. So I would do 1 row in this skein, 1 row in the next, and however many skeins I have, whether it's 6 or 10, every row would be a different skein, and I would just alternate through them so that it blends really well within the whole sweater. It'd be a lot of work, but I mean, let's be honest, spinning the fiber at all is a lot of work, so I'm willing to put in that time to have a really nice looking sweater. This is when I said I'm planning for next year already, this is something that I'm hoping to possibly get done at the end of 2020 or possibly beginning of 2021. That's how many knitting plans I have, that's how far out I am for planning projects. But when I do get to it, it's going to be beautiful, and I will get this into skein form and soak it, and then show you guys the finished skein on the next podcast. Last podcast, I talked to you guys about the Halloween Harry Potter box set that I purchased from Needles Up in Rhinebeck from Classy Squid Fiber Co. It was the only thing that I wanted in Rhinebeck, that I went to Rhinebeck knowing that I wanted to purchase it. I was so excited about it, and I still am. But with working on the All Hallows Eve shawl, all the sock knitting I've done, I didn't get as much spending time as I wanted to this week. In fact, I didn't get any spending time until yesterday. So I went ahead and started though. I'm going to do 2 or 3 a day, spinning them into singles and then plying them the next day. There's 10 different things of fiber within the box. Some are roll-ag, some are bats, some are braids. So this one was a roll-ag, and I don't recall the name, but if you follow me on Instagram, I've been sharing the process as I go. And this was a braid. And it's a mix of all kinds of fibers. So today I am going to cake this up and ply it with itself. And what I'm doing, instead of making one big skein that I ply it all together at the end, I'm actually going to make individual mini skeins and then set those aside to put all in one project. I think that would be really cool. So Levi from the WTF Knitting podcast is doing, I've heard through the grapevine, I will admit I am behind on podcasts, and I think I'm too behind for him. But I have heard through the grapevine that he has a podcast talking about the 100-day project. And I think this might be my 100-day project because I started it yesterday. So I would like to my goal would be to have everything spun up and plied into mini skeins, and then those mini skeins knit into a project. I'm not sure what that project's going to be because I'm not sure how much yardage I'm going to have yet. It might be a hat, it might be some mitts, it might be a cowl, or not a scarf. I know I won't have enough for a scarf. It might be a cowl, or maybe even a scrappy shawlette. We'll see. But for now, this is what I've got. I'm going to apply these today. So and I'm going to spin up 3 of the singles today. So I will be doing some spinning before I start working on my sweater for the evening. Okay. 42 minutes of nonstop chatter. Did pretty good. We just went from one thing to the next. I had a lot to talk about today, a lot to share, and I got it all in under an hour. So, I don't have a whole lot of chit chat this week. I guess I can talk about what I'm planning in the upcoming months through the end of the year. As far as knitting goes, I ordered some yarn yesterday. I received a very generous gift again from a friend. And I ordered some yarn for some more sweaters, which is just ridiculous because I don't need yarn for sweaters, but I wanted them and I had the gift card. So I planned it out and decided to purchase, and that has kind of renewed my enthusiasm for finishing the sweaters that I'm working on, because I've gone through a little bit of a sweater slump in the past month. But I'm back. I am back on track with knitting, guys. I'm gonna get so much knitting done this year, and I am so excited about it. I don't think I've been this excited about knitting in a while. So the plans for the rest of this year, because I'm not following the knitting schedule, is gift knitting. So I want to continue to work on the advent for Jason. I don't know that anybody else is getting anything gifted knitting wise, unless it's my dishcloths. I will gift those this year. But as far as socks and stuff, I don't know that anybody's gonna get anything. I might decide to make a hat or some socks for my dad and stepdad and mom. But kind of just going with the flow. Whatever feels good is what I'm knitting on, which is always nice to do. Just knit what makes you happy. And right now, all the stuff I showed is really making me happy, so I'm going to continue in that direction. Now, I do only have about a month of knitting time left before the crazy Advent season starts. And I have plans. Oh, I have plans. So I have plans to do a midnight cast-on party because I have decided to knit a scrappy sweater with my Honeybee Knits advent calendar. I did the math and I have the 20-gram mini sets. And I did the math, and with the full skein, I have 600 grams of yarn. Yes, 600 grams of yarn, 6 skeins of yarn. And that is enough to make a scrappy sweater. So I decided I'm going to knit a scrappy sweater. The collar, cuffs, and the bottom ribbing is going to be out of the main color. And the body and sleeves are going to be out of the mini skeins. And I think it's going to look fabulous, and I'm super excited for it. So I'm going to host a cast-on party for that November 30th at midnight. I will be recording for Vlogmas. I'll be opening up all my advents and recording, and then that should take me maybe 20-30 minutes. And when that's done, I will be hosting the cast-on party. So we are going to stay up until 2 or 3 in the morning because it's a Saturday night going into a Sunday. We're going to take naps and drink coffee, and we are going to cast on our Advent stuff. So if you would like to join, if that's something you're interested in, please let me know. I'm very excited about Advent. I don't want to go through the list right now of everything that I purchased for Advent through the year. Let's just say I started in April and I purchased what hopefully is my last thing last week. So I have quite a bit coming. I have a lot of spinning advents coming because I really enjoyed the spinning advents last year. I have the Honeybee Knits advent and the Jimmy Beans wool that I did last year as well. I did that again because I really enjoy that. And then I did purchase the Gail's Art one. I said I was going through the list, but apparently I am. I did purchase the Gail's Art one because I felt like it was different and outside of the box, and I saw hers from last year and it's just beautiful. She does beautiful artwork, so I decided to invest in that. And then I did buy 2 skeins of 24 stripe sock skeins. So I have plenty to keep me busy in the month of December, and I'm so excited for it. So Advent's coming. I have a month left to finish up what I want to finish up before then, and then it's just going to be Advent from December 1st to the beginning of the year. But yeah, so I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. And that's all I've got for now. Hopefully I will see you again very soon, within the next week and a half, with lots more stuff to show. I hope you guys had a great couple of weeks and will continue to do so over the upcoming weeks. And I hope you guys take some time for yourself. So have a great, wonderful day, evening, morning, whatever time it is for you. And I will talk to you soon. Bye. So there is one announcement I forgot to talk about: laundry, as I was recording, and that is that my friend Angela, she's Felici Fibers on Instagram and also on YouTube, is hosting a wonderful giveaway. She is trying to raise money for a great cause, and every $1 you donate gets you an entry in to win one of 2 advent calendars. One of the advent calendars is a wonderful package that she put together with some minis that were donated to her, as well as some scraps from projects that she's done, and along with a full skein of Honeybee Knits yarn. And the second giveaway is a full 25-day, 20-gram Christmas advent calendar from Honeybee Knits. So make sure that if you want a chance to win one of those 2 advent calendars, you go donate this week, because this is the last week to do it. If you need the link, please send me a message on Instagram or Ravelry, and I will send you the link. You have, I believe, until this weekend, this next weekend, to donate. Each dollar that you donate is one entry, and you can donate as much as you want. So if you donate $20, that's 20 entries. $1 is one entry, $5 is 5 entries, so on and so forth. So make sure you go check that out. Cut the ends. Start at the end. Work our way towards the beginning, because sometimes in life, that's what you have to do. You have to start at the end goal and work your way backwards to figure out how to get to the end. Philosophies with Melissa, as you trim the end that you wove in. Guys, the great thing about weaving in your ends as you go is that after you block, you just snip. No needle needed. And also these scissors, so I don't know what happened to all my scissors. I have had tons because I'm a collector. I collect things that are a part of the knitting craft, and I have a ton of scissors. I can't find a single pair. And I went through all of the shelves behind me, all of the project bags from all of the whips, and I couldn't find any scissors. But then I saw a sewing kit that my friend had bought me a few 4 or 5 years ago, and I opened it up, and lo and behold, there are all kinds of things: scissors, needle pages, progress keepers, stitch markers, buttons and pins and fix-it tools, and all kinds of fun stuff. So I took the scissors out. Oh, I should probably weave this one in. I need to weave that one in because it's not the last two. I need to weave in. I'm not used to these sharp pointy scissors. My scissors fold. They fold, and these are not the foldable scissors. Anyway, okay. So we have enough. Kind of. I've got 2 ends I need to weave in. Oh my god, I love it. So beautiful. Ooh, I love this. It's huge. It's like a schlinket. Let's see. How are we gonna wear this? What? That's beautiful. I don't know, it's just beautiful. Okay, so much stuff. Ooh. Okay. So hopefully throw these bad boys. These ones are clearly not blocked yet. 2. Okay. So many finish objects. Okay. There we go.